So let's look at slant, and then we'll start to look at the zones. The slant of writing will tell you so much. Writing is either reclined, vertical, or inclined, depending which way it's leaning. So reclined writing would be like this. This is extremely reclined. Vertical, you can look at the long strokes to determine. And of course, this way, which is leaning to the right. Now, the slant of the writing will flawlessly indicate to you. So all these battery packs and that are pulling my trousers down. But I admit it, so it's okay. I just want to say it first so you didn't feel sorry for me or anything. Okay. This shows you how people react emotionally. Richard, can I borrow you for a sec? Can you stand up there, buddy? Richard. Let's bring Richard's somebody I've just met. Now, if I'm an inclined writer, this one, this is me. Leaning towards him, friendly. If I'm a vertical writer, this is me. Holding the emotions back a bit, being a little more cautious. If I'm a reclined writer, it's this. I'm leaning away from him. So have a seat, thanks buddy. So that's basically showing you the emotional engagement of the person. When you see the writing that is a little bit forward, that we typically see a little bit of a slant, that's the average person that we're talking to. People who can be friendly, they can be sort of quiet in the background, whatever. When you get really extreme forward slanted writing, the person will be impulsive. They'll be the ones who'll watch infomercials at night, buy everything, and then wish they hadn't afterwards. Their emotions will rule. Their emotions will kick in before their intellect does. So the further forward the writing, the more the emotions will rule their life. The person who's a vertical writer, it's the opposite. This is the head rules the heart. They will think things through. The emotions will come in later. The vertical writers are great when they're in emergency services because vertical writers aren't freaked out by situations. The head rules the heart. They're very cool and calm in an emergency. I was in a castle in Ireland a number of years ago, and there's another couple there. I looked at their writing. This guy's name was Mark, his wife Allison. His writing was really far forward. He's very emotional, Italian, very deep emotions, could cry at the drop of a hat. Really cool guy. His wife, vertical writing. Allison, everything's held back. It showed up the first day we met them. We had garbage can races out in the parking lot of the castle. I didn't participate, I just officiated because it was too dangerous. And Mark got about 15 feet. The garbage can with about 200 pounds of garbage got out of his hands. He fell flat in his face, and he absolutely freaked out. He just had a little bump on his bruise on his chin. You would have thought he had to go to the emergency ward. And his wife just, oh, he'll be all right. Seen it before. Don't worry about it. I'm not even going to look. And I went, yeah, there it is again. So the far forward writing, if it's really far forward, it's gone beyond emotion into impulsive. And now if it pulls back, its emotions pull back towards self. This is the person who holds their emotions back. They keep them in. They're not just vertical. They're not just looking at things cautiously and with their intellect. They're actually pulling the emotions in. So if I'm seeing a little bit of reclined, and I promise you I'll write in the top 2/3 only. So the person who is severely reclined, now this would be a little bit. Oh no, that'd be a lot. This would be a little bit. Nah, that's still quite a lot. This, when we get a slant to this degree, this is telling us a hell of a lot. This is emotions sucked in, sucked back because of past trauma. So if you're a therapist, if you're a hypnotherapist, psychotherapist, whatever, if you get a client come in, and when I see people only on Skype now doing mindscaping, the day before, they pay in full through PayPal, or I'm not going to show up, and they send me about half a page of their handwriting as a scan. So before I even see them, I know all their stuff. And it's really, really quick. And when I see this, I'm thinking damaged goods, something in the past, usually something connected with the parent. If I see it like this, and I have so far back, that's abuse in the past. You see this, people who've suffered childhood abuse, and if you check them with something like timeline therapy, you will find gaps where they cannot recall what happened to them. But this is stuff that all needs to be cleared. So one of your things, you see a client with their writing forward or backwards, you will know right away, do they express their emotions readily? Do the emotions switch on readily? Or are the emotions held back? Or are the emotions so held back, the person is actually problematic now to themselves? Does that make sense? Okay, so when you combine that with things like size of writing, remember size is on a continuum. Yeah, we're good. Suddenly concerned? Size is on a continuum. So if we have tiny, tiny, tiny writing, we're seeing much more introversion. If you've got tiny writing and back slanted, you're adding to it. Now I'm going to really see problems here. Tiny writing and back slanted with a messy signature is often found in the handwriting of rapists. So I'm not saying that if you back slanted writing, you're a rapist or have predisposition to that, but I'm saying that we do see it a lot of the time. One of the traits you'll learn today is the felon's claw, which is found in more than 80% of people in the American penitentiary system. So when you see it, it is such a predictor of dangerous behavior. You don't let that person in your life. Yes, you don't let that person in your life. We'll be looking at the felon's claw. You see, that's instinct. You can't teach that kind of comedy. It's fantastic. The felon's claw is one of the things we'll look at when we get into lower zones. And this shows in 80% of people in the American penitentiary system. So it's a very, very dangerous trait, which, of course, my business partner at the time had.